Horsey. Oh yeah, new Richter overtime. Cool. Pogu.
Good evening. Half-Life 2 is actually pretty boring on its 45th playthrough. You can only get so much out of any game, no matter how much you love it, and when things dry up, that's usually when you turn to mods or fan expansions. But as we all know, mods aren't all—
Horsey! Holy shit. Opposing horse!
always smooth sailing. The Half-Life community especially is no stranger to modding catastrophes.
No.
Projects like Hunt Down the Freeman or Cinematic Mod really need no introduction.
No.
But while most of the more infamous Half-Life mods have grown old and become kind of talked to death, there's one that, despite being pretty new on the block, has rapidly developed a very sour reputation in a firestorm of online drama, and to many has cemented its name in the halls of Half-Life infamy. That mod is called Half-Life 2 Overcharged. But how deserved is this hate? And is this mod really as bad as people say? I set out to figure that out myself. At a glance, Overcharged is yet another installment in a long list of mods designed to make Half-Life 2 more exciting. S-Mod, M-Mod, the phenomenon is as old as time. Half-Life 2 is not as flashy or animated as some other popular shooters, so why not make your next playthrough a little more interesting with a mod that injects more crazy violence and weapons into Gordon's old journey? It's not hurting anybody. But what is it that makes other over-the-top mods like S-Mod or M-Mod so beloved, but Overcharged so hated? Well, for one, Overcharged is made by a Russian team with a bit of an eccentric past. Their previous mod, Arctic—
strike one. Eccentric Russians. I like eccentric Europeans in general. Well, I guess you're Asian in this case, but you know what I mean.
Adventure Episodes has very negative reviews. I admittedly haven't played it, but the screenshots do paint a pretty amateur picture. Additionally, the lead developer, Brigi, is apparently a Russian rapper. No, I'm not kidding. I don't know what's going on in this cover art. I guess someone's about to do an airplane drive-by on Brigi's luxury office. Don't worry about cultural appropriation, though. As you can see, his album is approved by California street rappers and BLM social movement. Anyways, Brigi's Overcharged mod was created to carry the torch of S-Mod. Or at least I think that's what he was saying in this comment he left taunting the
S-Mod is gone.
Creator of BS Mod, another similar over-the-top Half-Life 2 mod. None of what I've described so far is what brought the mod so much hate, though. It's actually a kerfuffle involving the Overcharged mod team and two YouTubers. Both of these gentlemen made videos covering Overcharged, offering their fair few critiques for it, and the Overcharged team responded very poorly to it. Apparently, when they released the mod's 2.0 update in November 2024, it added in a unique crash error, a superficial ban to stop these users.
Stop talking S1. Wait, what? S1T about us? What the heck's S1T?
YouTubers from playing the mod. Now, it is definitely scary to have a software you downloaded to individually target you. Even if the functionality is mostly harmless, you generally don't want to be the mod known for smuggling secret DLLs that target your haters. Most people see that as not only
developers are putting Fox die in their games, goddamn.
But also a little bit frightening. That being said, it is worth noting that smuggling a DLL with functionality to target Steam IDs isn't exactly a difficult operation, nor is it illegal. Hell, I believe this is pretty much the same way the Donator Weapons and Cry of Fear and Sven co-op work. And thankfully, there seems to be no ambiguity as to what they did here. This operation is handled in less than 10 lines of code, and it wouldn't have even worked if these YouTubers had simply been playing on an alt account or something. So it's really more of a symbolic gesture than anything, but still. In this instance, code was written with cruel, petty, targeted intentions, and by certain cybersecurity standards, it could even be stretched to constitute malware. But they didn't hack anyone, they just made the game crash for a couple of Steam IDs. Even PC Gamer understood at the end of the day that this was basically just script kiddie shit. But this kind of immature stunt provides more than enough reason for people to want to steer clear from these guys and their projects in the future. Especially because these guys never apologized or addressed this and instead seem to have continued crashing out. Continuing development as usual outside of cryptic blog posts taunting their detractors. All of the fallout from this, as well as the mod being pulled from popular modding sites due to mass reports for malware, has led to the Overcharged team becoming probably the most infamous Half-Life modders in recent memory. But as I've learned over the years, just because someone does shitty things doesn't necessarily mean everything they've made is irredeemably bad. And I recently upgraded my PC for the first time in 7 years, meaning I'm now in a position where I can cover a performance-intensive mod like this without the video coming out all stuttery and shitty like my cinematic mod video did. Hooray! So moral objections aside, is Half-Life 2 Overcharged so bad bad
Whoa,
as
look
to
at
deserve
that.
the
That looks
reputation
cool.
YouTubers have given it as borderline malware garbage.
Don't let it overcharge.
What do you mean, overcharge?
Now, I had a little bit of an idea what Overcharged
Nice.
was going to be like going into this. I'd seen a few pictures and videos from the dev blog showing some flashy new areas and guns. And by all means, it seemed like yet another
So
run-of-the-mill,
fancy.
over-the-top excuse to run through the Half-Life
Well,
2
at least it has
campaign
a
again.
kick
And credit
button,
where
which
credit
is
is
pretty
due,
cool.
it does deliver that in a lot of ways. But the first immediate problem you'll notice when you open Overcharged is the mega giant buffet of an
Jesus
options
Christ!
menu. It is frankly overwhelming just how many gears and levers
That
Overcharged
is
shoves in
a
front of you as soon as you
lot
open
of
the game.
options.
The way I see it, mods that give you a
You know, I usually am an advocate for more options, but this is a little overboard. Overcharged, you could say.
settings menu this exhaustive are putting up a weak shield from criticism. It's the developers asking the player to find the fun for them. And if the player doesn't find it, then
that's
it's
strike
their
one,
fault,
buddy.
not the devs. My brother in Christ, you made the sandwich and all that. The thing is that
Yeah.
just slapping a million off switches into your mod settings doesn't magically make all the features immune to criticism. You still included them, and I still have to read the fucking Magna Carta to figure out how to turn them off. So when this mod
Yeah,
smears
that's
strawberry
already a
jam
strike
all over
against
its guns, even if it's possible to turn it off, I think I'm very much still allowed to point out that it looks really bad. Rather
looks
than
like
grapple with the
shit.
confusing options menu for an hour and a
It looks like the meat pistol. It's a pistol made of meat.
allowed to point out
That is
that it
very
looks
weird.
really bad.
Really
Rather
cool
than
concept,
grapple with the
actually.
confusing options menu for an hour and a half, I popped my head into the Overcharged Discord and got an official recommendation from Brigitte to simply try the first preset, which I did. Simple
Nice.
enough, I guess. Thanks, Brigitte. After that, I set out to
Brigitte,
play through
I
the
guess.
entirety of Half-Life 2 Overcharged, which is actually a bigger undertaking than you might think, because the Overcharged campaign includes all of Half-Life 2, as well as Episode 1, Episode 2, and even Lost Coast somehow stitched into one
Wow.
continuous experience. This is actually
Crazy.
pretty impressive to pull off. Even Valve struggled to put all the games under one hood in their anniversary update. There's also a ton of brand new and interesting environments randomly sprinkled throughout, including ones from the Half-Life 2 leak, and the whole thing wound up taking me damn near 15 hours to complete. For all its
Yeesh.
faults, one thing you can't say about Overcharged is that it's lacking in content. The first things you notice when you load in
It's freaking loaded to the gills with stuff. Jeez, you could play this game for years.
are the bizarre
More like you
CSM
would.
lighting, the ability to lean left and right, and the weird depth of field blur effects. The CSM lighting does kind of look cool sometimes, but most of the time it just looks strange or outright terrible, or it becomes completely blinding. It also often
my
causes the
eyes.
sunlight to poke through the walls nonsensically. That's where the fan favorite "sun is leaking" meme comes
The sun is leaking.
from, I believe. I actually do have to appreciate
The
that not
sun
only
is
has the mod added invisible legs that change based on which clothes Gordon is supposed to be wearing, but when you use the new
nice.
kick attack, it moves your leg out of the way in a manner that actually looks pretty alright. The first outright
pretty
stupid thing
cool.
in the campaign is the hound eyes found in the train station. You know, that high surveillance area in the middle of the Combine's Earth capital? Yeah, fuck it, there's just wild Zen animals running
Why are
around
there-
there, why not?
Yeah, that's totally not immersion and lore breaking or anything, because you know, didn't the Combine essentially take over Zen and killed all the wildlife there? I don't remember the details.
There's also these red hound eyes that explode,
Red
and
hound-
also Zen light stalks and opposing force spores scattered everywhere, and I'm honestly just not sure what they're supposed to be adding. That being said, the revamped
Yeah.
combat and fancy new gun reanimations are actually kind of satisfying, especially
Pretty
the
cool.
violently loud SMG, holy fuck. The new kick attack is so powerful that it kind of breaks the game. When you're over
It's like Dark Messiah. I love Dark Messiah, even though I've never played it. All I know is that the kick button is very funny. I like the idea of Dark Messiah. I can't wait to actually play it, unironically.
overwhelmed, it basically becomes your enemy delete button, allowing you to effectively opt out of combat. You can use it to kick in doors on some Resident Evil shit. Hell, sometimes you might even use it in place of the
Damn.
gravity gun. It just kind of solves everything. It's weird because the mod
Yeah.
also goes through the effort of adding a button to gun butt enemies and even a bunch of new melee
Why would you
weapons like the
ever
stun stick and
gun
pipe
butt it?
wrench, but there's basically no reason to use them over the kick. It's just too good. The game encourages you to
mighty
explore
foot.
these familiar maps more by adding more weapons and stuff to find, which does
Whoa.
genuinely help refresh the experience even for older fans. This mod also has another interesting feature. You won't have to worry about getting
so?
stuck on friendly NPCs anymore because you can just kill them. I see why they
can
removed
just
killing
kill
friendlies from
them.
Half-Life 2. It's just too tempting. One point of sincere praise, while other mods like SMod generally have not done a great job of thinking out what happens if you softlock yourself by killing an important NPC, Overcharged does seem to have gotten that down to a science. I never found myself having to load an older save after my friendly fire shenanigans. Killing a mission critical NPC always triggered a game over and reloaded it for me. The mod's
I that's what I like. That's what I like, actually. I like that. You let us kill quest essential NPCs. Come on, man. Come on. Like, let us just do it to see what happens. Preferably one that just gives us, makes us persist with our actions. You know, give the message, the message in Morrowind that says, with this character's death, the prophecy has been severed. Yeah, that whole thing. With this character's death, the prophecy has been severed. Either go back to a previous save or persist in this doomed world you've created. That type of shit.
Skipper Part has all kinds of new enemies as well. Voltigores return from opposing force, as do Gnomes, although their design isn't translated very well into the source engine. There's also Bull Squids, Elite Metro Cops, and female Combine Assassins from the beta. The Assassins add this brand new dimension to Half-Life 2, where the most efficient way to progress is now to make Gordon kick a bunch of women to death.
Base.
In the canals, you can take the mounted guns off their stands, which has some questionable balancing implications. Taking the Hunter Chopper gun with you means eventually the rebels will stop to graciously gift you this very special gun that you already have. And in Black Mesa East, Overcharged reveals a jaw-dropping gameplay enhancement. The ability to aim down sights with the gravity gun. This changes everything. There's no two ways about it. Ravenholm is a bit of a clusterfuck in this mod. It's one of the most fever-dreamy parts of Overcharged. Packing in a ton of brand new areas to explore via cart rail and honestly get completely lost in. Scrapped beta areas like the lake return in a pretty cool way, and they even give you an excuse to visit it by stashing Grigori's Annabelle rifle there. Elsewhere, the subtle horror of Ravenholm is overwritten by something a lot more cartoonish, thanks to these flashy Call of Duty guns and the cheesy green Gnomes. I found it a bit disappointing you couldn't slice through them with the saw blades. That would have been a neat touch. The zombies in Overcharged seem to have also been thoroughly overhauled, by the way. You now see not only zombified refugees, but also zombified rebels and even zombified Metro Cops. The zombies' behavior and animations are also shaken up. Some of them now behave like the creepy slow zombies from Half-Life 1, some lumber around normally, and others emulate the zombines from the episodes. It's an interesting change that does in some regard give Half-Life 2 more mechanical depth. It might be an understatement to say that the Ravenholm mines have been massively expanded. The beta sequence featuring the digger vehicle and the Big Mama pod has been restored, and it leads you up an elevator through another beta map, which in turn trails off into a Combine ambush, set in the train yard from the canceled Junction Point Studios Ravenholm game. Then you pass by the hospital from the canceled Arcade Studios Ravenholm game, before finally wrapping back into the mines. There's also another optional area you can find in the mines that I'm pretty sure the Overcharged devs designed themselves. This big cliffside under an overpass with a cool foggy atmosphere. And although all these areas were a little confusing sometimes, they did make me feel like I was earnestly exploring in Half-Life 2 again, which is definitely a good and rare feeling. When you get to the coast, you start encountering new Combine soldier variants, some who go invisible and some who carry riot shields. Combined with some new enemy ambushes they've sprinkled in, it does make the soldier combat in the second half of the game a little bit less monotonous. And a shotgunner with a riot shield is quite a scary thing. The new weapons in the form of a Glock NPC
and the shotgun Combine are already scary enough. Give them a fucking riot shield and yeah, that's an easy way. That's how you speedrun shit in your pants.
7, sniper rifle, OICW, and even grenade launcher are also pretty fun. There's some new creatures you'll come across on the coast as well, like the Chargers from Half-Life 1's concept
It looks like a penis.
art, and the antlion grubs and workers from episode 2. As for the vehicles, you can now drive some of the Combine APCs laying around and even take the Tau cannon off the buggy, which is pretty neat. Nova Prospect is made way longer, probably double the length with all these new areas and arenas it takes you through. One of my favorite things I noticed here is what the mod calls dead man firing, where dead Combine who are falling to the ground will sometimes have their gun go off. It's just a really cool naturalistic effect that reminds me of GTA 4. You go
or Fear. They do that in Fear. That's something that they do in Fear, and I think also Trepang too. Fucking hell. Man, this mod sounds awesome.
Up against this Combine guard guy with his big ass laser gun. And they add in the cremator too, but he's like a total bitch. You can just blow his ass away in like 3 shots. Unfortunately, I did wind up stuck in one of the new Nova Prospect areas, and I had to put on my Sherlock Holmes hat and no clip around. Turns out I was supposed to kill this gunship so its crash would blow open a wall, but the damn thing got stuck under the map, so I had the no clip to advance. The final chapters of Half-Life 2 become a complete bloodbath with all the new enemies and weapons Overcharged adds. And it's actually pretty fun. I normally would be against this kind of thoughtless enemy spam, but after playing through Overcharged Uprising and then looking back on how it was in the original game, I can't help but feel maybe Overcharged does have a point. Maybe there's
there should have been a much more stronger defense line to the Citadel.
should have been more cool, unique combat encounters and monsters to fight during the climactic collapse of Earth's capital. Even the Gnome feels kind of fun and fitting here for some reason. This part of the game definitely deserved to be more exciting than just a sequence of striders and gunships to shoot down with rockets. Unfortunately though, I don't like the AK-47, which docks major points on a project like this. The
How do you fuck up
AK-47 has to be good, and this one just isn't.
Oh no, they committed the cardinal sin. They ruined Kalashnikov's masterpiece. How dare you? That is an unforgivable sin.
You hear a cat just now?
Huh?
My absolute worst complaint about this mod is the Nexus area. Who the fuck put these RC car things in here? Seriously, who decided that this part of the game needed more bullshit rolling around and annoying the player? It's already one of the game's more frustrating segments to my mind. In fact, I've got a confession. I've been playing Half-Life 2 for about as long as I've known my parents' real names, and I still don't know how the fuck you're supposed to take out these floor turret things without taking any damage. In the Citadel, you wind up fighting enslaved Vortigaunts again, which I can only assume is an amusing callback to Half-Life 1's finale.
Unregistered weapons detected.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. The Citadel segment is a bit mucked up by the fact that the super gravity gun doesn't play nice with the Combine riot shields, but it's cool how the moment from episode 1 where G-Man gets interrupted by the Vortigaunts is woven in seamlessly to the original ending sequence. Also, check out this fly-ass Combine in a beret.
Holy shit! That is some fucking drip. Holy shit.
He looks cool.
Flashbang.
As mentioned earlier, Overcharged also takes you through the episodes, which is cool even if they do crash a hell of a lot more. Though there is an awkward problem where things we've already encountered hours ago suddenly have gratuitous and redundant introductions. Scenes like Alex introducing the Zombine really only work if the enemy is new to the player too. They kind of make up for this by introducing more new stuff though. Midway through episode 1, you can find the Displacer Cannon from Opposing Force, which teleports you to random places in the game world or maybe out of the game entirely with a crash. I thought it was a fun touch that when Alex gets incapacitated, we actually get to pick up and use her special gun for a little while until the Vortigaunts resuscitate her. Like, you know what? That actually makes a little bit of sense. You also get to pick up the Combine auto gun for yourself after it's destroyed. And as one last surprise, Overcharge gifts you the long jump module from Half-Life 1 in the White Forest rocket silo. As things started wrapping up, the vehicle entities began breaking and I wound up having to spawn new cars to progress. Then, I'm ashamed to admit, I completely cheesed the final battle. Because on top of the Hunters and Striders, Overcharged adds on a billion other random enemies to fight and helicopters and gunships flying around, and the game keeps crashing, and Jesus fuck. The crashes and immense difficulty spike together got so annoying to steer through that eventually I just got pissed off and spammed health kits in the console so I could move on with my life. I guess
kind of valid, I guess, but good fucking god.
That means I have to surrender my hardcore Half-Life 2 player card, so here, you can take it. I'm sorry.
Wait, you were born on 9/11? Huh. Yes, please. Amateur.
So, all in all, what is my conclusion about Half-Life 2 Overcharged? Well, I'll say this, it's not like it doesn't wear its heart on its sleeve. It is certainly a zanier, more eclectic and bombastic version of the game. It's unhinged and unstable, but I'm not sure what anyone else was expecting out of a mod called Overcharged. To critique this mod for being unbalanced or janky would be about as profound as saying that McDonald's isn't very healthy. No shit, man. For what?
Yeah, no shit. It's a Russian overkill. I found it out. It's Russian Overkill Half-Life Edition. It's literally Half-Life 2 Russian Overkill. If you don't know what Russian Overkill is, you have to be over 18 to watch my streams. Okay. Being a bully aside, Russian Overkill is a really funny, really awesome Doom mod, where it changes all of the Doom weapons to be absolutely fucking crazy versions that just make no balancing sense. Which make absolutely no sense balance-wise, but it's still super fucking fun. And yeah, this is basically just Russian Overkill Half-Life Edition.
Overcharged is trying to deliver, it does an alright job. The gunplay does make you feel like a badass sometimes. The new environments are interesting to explore. It's enjoyable in the same way downloading a bunch of bullshit in Gmod is. Yeah, it often gets buggy and crashy, but that doesn't really make it any less fun. If nothing else, I think mods like this help illustrate how well built of a structure Half-Life 2 really is. It's a concoction of a bunch of features people have argued would have made Half-Life 2 better for the last 20 years, crudely smashed into it, and lo and behold, all it really does is make the game schizophrenic and harder to take seriously. Having an arsenal so big that it's hard to even find the new weapons you're looking for doesn't really make the game feel better. The excess of returning elements from Half-Life 1 and opposing force honestly just feel bizarre and out of place. And the extra beta enemies and expanded non-linear level design just gets disorienting at a certain point. Playing the game this way feels like you ate too much sugar or something. But I actually
or you just fucking mainlined a Red Bull and washed it down with some Four Loko. And just, yeah, you just double dose on energy drinks. That's how it feels.
Appreciated it more as I played through. By the end, I couldn't help but appreciate the sheer dedication that went into cramming shit into every single nook and cranny of this campaign. I'm not sure I'd say I was impressed, but I was certainly entertained. So, does Overcharged ruin Half-Life 2? Well, kind of, yes, but not in any way other modders haven't already been doing for over 20 years now. And I'll admit, I'm hesitant.
It does, but in a way that's just like, it's still very fun. And you know what the man says, if it's not fun, you know.
To join in on totally dogpiling and running people like this out of town, even if they have made some very dumb choices. Because at the end of the day, 21 years after Half-Life 2's release, there's only so many people left on Earth who are willing to spend as much time as the Overcharged team has, rolling around in the disgusting mud that is Source Engine programming. You don't implement scrapped
Yeah, that's another thing. Source spaghetti is a very real thing, and it's something.
Enemy concepts like the Charger, or do any of this shit with the new maps, or create an original soundtrack if you're not an earnest Half-Life fan trying to make something cool. With stories like these, I also try to remember that these people are Eastern European. They wake up every morning in a region of the world so depressing to live in that Valve based the dystopia in Half-Life 2 on it. So, since the guys were...
Yep, that's another thing. East Europeans, Eurojank. That's what makes it soulful. That's definitely what makes it soulful. Yeah, you just gotta make others happy. Keep on trucking.
Nice enough to me when I popped in their Discord. Maybe there's a chance I can get through to them. If the Overcharged team is watching this video is not meant to shit on your mod. In fact, I actually had quite a lot of fun with it. I know the title might make it seem like I'm arming people to dislike it, but it's actually only named this way because of the reputation it now has. There was a time where you put out your first trailer and people were genuinely very excited to see what you were working on. But now, a lot of people really don't like what you did with that Steam ID thing, and it's not solely because a YouTuber told them to feel that way. While I think the way people talk about the situation is a little melodramatic, it is your fault and nobody else's. When someone...
Yeah, maybe don't be a kind of don't be a dick. Don't be a jerk. Yeah, don't be a jerk, basically. What? Yeah, don't be a jerk. Yeah, there might be some criticisms, but there's no reason to completely block access. Yeah, you kind of, that's a bit on you, buddy. That's a bit on you, buddy. Yeah, that's a bit on you, buddy. But, hey, you did a pretty good thing.
Offers criticism or even not so nice words about something you made. You don't have to like it, but you do have to accept that as a fact of life. Not try to molest their computers with personalized crash messages. Everything would have been so much easier for you guys if you just took the odd mean YouTube video on the chin, rather than inviting another cycle of hate with this shit. To most people, you're now on track for secret malware to be the defining thing your mod is most remembered for. A bit like how Cinematic Mod is only remembered for its fully modeled cervix. But that didn't have to be the case, and it still doesn't really have to. You don't have to turn heel. You could attempt to admit fault and make right what's happened, and I'm sure some people would be willing to give you a second chance. It's not like there isn't an audience of people who appreciate stuff like Overcharged and want to see more things like it. I'm sure there are countless youngins out there who would love this experience if they weren't being told it was a virus. I mean, there are things about your mod even I enjoyed as a Half-Life 2 purist. That being said though, the sun is still leaking. Should probably do something about that.
Yeah, you might want to, might want to fix some of the lighting issues and maybe take out that whole thing with the Steam ID bullshit. Yeah, maybe you might want to look into that. I have a friend that is extremely paranoid about downloading shit because he thinks it might destroy his computer. So yeah, you might want to look into that. So yeah, people don't have to worry. People like him won't have to worry so much. Yeah. Also, please don't put me on the list because I kind of want to play this too. Because I kind of want to play this as well. So yeah. Once again, comments. The moon is shitting. My guns from CS. My bloom turned on. My arsenal comically large. My sun leaking. Yep, it's Half-Life Overcharged time. Just vomit everything. It's literally like putting 1,000 weapon add-ons in Gmod and then playing them in that. That is a yearly tradition for me. I always play Half-Life 2 with a bunch of mods on Gary's mod, and then I just play through it, and yeah. Good evening. It's honestly a tragedy. The Overcharged mod should have taken criticism and didn't immediately go, "You didn't get out, couldn't use this, you undeserving loser." It'd probably be one of the best Half-Life 2 expansion mods. And had a surprising amount of good ideas, take an approach a bit more S-mod that expands on the customization. You'd be able to make it a... Wait. It has a surprising good amount of ideas. You can make it like S-mod that has a lot of customization to the point that you can make it either basic Half-Life enhancement, you can make it cinematic, gunplay, etc. And all in one platform. Winning combo, but it's completely ruined because they just screwed up nearly everything in one way or another. And they refuse to go back on anything they already did and just add more, thinking it eventually wore out. It'll eventually work out. Seamless transitions between the games is the thing that Valve should have done. And it's crazy that it only happens in one mod after almost 20 years. And it was sullied. It was sullied because of some kind of jerk-ass mod makers. Jolly saying, yes, the hunt down the Freeman approach with the Twitch message. So you have to when you have shotgun, and when you have shotgun, become more guns equal better, apparently. Yeah, that's literally what Hunt Down the Freeman did. The sun is leaking, the moon is falling, the fog is coming, the clouds are accumulating even. It's horrendous. It's disgusting. And god damn it, I love it. Kinda like it. I kinda like it. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, actually. Damn. Now I want to play it. Thank you. Thank you, I forgot what your name was. You made a very weird, very fantastic mod.